like to call to order the meeting of Monday, July the 11th. If everyone would stand and we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If the clerk would please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald. Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Lamb.
Here.
Councilmember Mosherak.
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton. Councilmember Ruiz.
Here.
Mayor Rapp.
Here, just for the record, both council members Archibald and Pemberton had work commitments tonight that they needed to be at. We'll move on to the minutes, and we have the special meeting of June 27th and the regular meeting of June 27th. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support. Thank you, Councilmember Ashford, and supported by Councilmember Lamb. Is there any changes to the minutes? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes will stand as submitted. We have one presentation tonight, if the clerk would please read.
The proclamation honoring the Blue Water Garden Club.
And I see we have lots of members, so I'm not sure who's going to accept it, or are you all going to come up and accept it together? Proclamation. Before I do, I just want to say we really appreciate everything you do in the city of Port Huron. It's gorgeous. We put a lot of time into it. So thank you very much. I'm going to read this here. I'm just going to go around this way. And I'm going to slip on these glasses here quickly. Whereas the Blue Water Garden Club was founded in 1980 to stimulate the love of gardening and to encourage home and community beautification and conservation. And whereas since their tenure, the Blue Water Garden Club has undertaken multiple projects, including the cleanup of the Thomas Edison Depot, creating the biblical herb garden at St. Paul Lutheran Church, and constructing multiple beds in Pine Grove Park. And whereas the club was an instrumental part of the Sanborn Nature Area being declared a park and spent numerous years teaching junior gardening classes to fourth graders at local elementary schools. And whereas throughout the last 42 years, members of the Blue Water Garden Club have spent hundreds of hours beautifying the city of Port Huron. And whereas the Blue Water Garden Club has a passion for nurturing the beauty and resources of the earth through the planting of seeds, and whereas we've been most fortunate to have had the Blue Water Garden Club in our community, and we deeply appreciate the important contributions that they have made. Now therefore I, Pauline M. Rapp, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Port Huron, and on behalf of council members Archibald, Ashford, Lamb, Mosherak, Pemberton, and Ruiz, do hereby issue the certificate of recognition to the Blue Water Garden Club with sincere gratitude and appreciation for a job well done. And here we go.
Thank you to the City of Port Huron. We are very honored to be recognized by you all. Thank you.
Thank you, and another round of applause, please. We will move on to public comment. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address the City Council, you have 4 minutes. If you'd like to come forward, give your name, where you live.
Hello.
All right. Welcome back, Mayor Rapp.
Thank you.
Are you feeling better?
Yes.
Good. Glad to hear it.
I am.
Okay. So Julian Rupp,
Yep, Julie.
1423 Lapeer Avenue, Polly's Place, the Free Food Garden. So last time, the last meeting a couple weeks ago, I brought good news that a positive and forward-thinking conversation has been going on with David Haynes with the planning department. And though Polly's Place is technically a vacant lot, breaking a few rules, right now there's some grace as we figure out what rules we need to have for urban agriculture within the limits of Port Huron. And in the past few weeks, and since I only have a few minutes here for this entire month, I've been kind of thinking of what I want most in what we're doing. So that's the beginning, right? That's the first step. Right. So what do I want the most? And that would be curiosity, sincere curiosity from each of you individually, from the council as a whole, from the city as a whole. If you just spend an afternoon in the garden, you'll see people coming and going all day long. And I give pretty much the same 15-minute tour 4 or 5 times a day sometimes, especially on the weekends, and grab a plastic bag and grab things from the garden and hand it to them and send them on their way. And you see that everybody within eye shot of the garden knows about it and protects it so much that we have no vandalism or security concerns. It's a really good thing happening in the Harrison Point community neighborhood, and we'd like to expand further throughout the neighborhood. But I'm a man of small means. I can't just keep buying lots. I don't have the money for that. We can barely keep this going with my own support, local support, and support from people outside the community. There are empty city lots on every block in that neighborhood. Pretty soon M-Terra is going to be picking up leaves all over the neighborhood, and that's of great value to a garden. And those lots, they cost money to maintain and landscape, but if you let us have access to one in this direction and one in the other direction from Polly's Place to turn into a trial community composting site, or otherwise continue to teach the community about gardening, it's a win-win-win. Like, checks all the boxes, saving money, everything. So I guess that's what I want the most, some partnership that stems from a genuine and sincere curiosity, because we're going to end hunger in that 50-block neighborhood, and I'd like you to join us in that journey. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the City Council this evening? If so, please come forward, give us your name and where you live, and you have 4 minutes. Seeing no one, I declare public comment closed. We will move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Ashford, is there support? Councilmember Mosherak. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Mayor Rec.
Yes. The items on the consent agenda: approving the 2022 request for local millage distribution from the St. Clair County Parks and Recreation Commission, approving the scheduling of a public hearing for August the 8th to hear comments on the CAPER program year 2021, approve the reappointments of Robert Clegg and Michael Cogley to the Zoning Board of Appeals for terms to expire July 1, 2025. And the communication, yes, that was an add-on, receive and file notification from the Michigan Liquor Control Commission that an application has been received from Larry Jones to transfer an escrow 2022 Class C license from Goodrich Quality Theaters to 321 Huron Avenue. And we'll move to from the city manager, number 1, please.
Accepting the unit price bid from Dean Marine and Excavating Incorporated in the estimated amount of $586,872.44 for the armoring of the Black River Canal entrance at Lake Huron.
Is there a motion?
Support.
Councilmember Mosherak, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Did you want to give us a little bit more information on
Yes,
this, please?
absolutely. Madam Mayor and Council, this has been a multi-year project. The first study you did is you tasked an engineering firm with looking at the mouth of the canal and deciding what options we had to prevent erosion. As you know, there is an access drive on the north side of the canal. There's also residential properties on the south side of the canal. We are about to lose the residential garage on the south side of the canal, and within a few months we expect to lose the service drive on the north end of the canal. The reason why that's important is that's how we dredge every year. That's how we get our equipment back there. And so if you go from Gratiot Ave all the way to Black River, there's already been armoring done there. There's been silt soil put down, there's been rock put down to really shore up those sides of the canal. It's never been done from the gate to the mouth of the lake. Perhaps that's why we have a lot of dredging issues, is because there's sides of the canal coming down. So we tasked this engineering firm last year to look at options. They came up with a plan to do both a hybrid of concrete and large boulders and stones along the banks of the canal from the Tanner Gate out to the mouth of the lake that will help stop the erosion. There was a lengthy permit process with Eagle. It took more than a year to submit our drawings and our plans to Eagle to get approval, in which we now are in pending approval now. So what this will do is this will armor the banks of the canal with concrete and stone, prevent erosion, should help alleviate dredging. To those who I saw on social media who are concerned about the level of the canal, we have begun executing our canal dredging permit to get our contractor out there to dredge once again this year. It'll take a few weeks to get them out there as fast as we possibly can legally. So anyways, that's the plan for this. Now this is a once-in-a-generation project. I've been here going on 9 years, and we've never had to dredge a canal because it's been armored. Hopefully this will help with the erosion and dredging from the gate to the mouth of the canal. We do not have the funds normally to fund this type of project, so we are allocating American Rescue Plan's lost revenue dollars to cover this one-time cost. I have reached out to our township partners, both in Fort Gratiot and Port Huron Township, and spoken with those supervisors. They will be bringing up a resolution to their boards in the coming weeks on possibly helping us fund. They don't have as many means as we do with the ARP funds, but at least some help should come from the townships as well. A lot of people use that canal, but only a fraction are actually city residents.
Right.
And I think we keep that in mind as well when we reach out to our township partners. So hopefully this helps. The reason why we had one bid is because this specific work requires work from a barge. So they'll bring a barge in and work from the water upwards. Not everyone has access to a barge or lifting equipment from a barge, which is why we typically only get one type of bid for our dredging annually as well.
Any questions from council?
Yeah, he did answer mine. I said, is the city the sole responsible entity? And so we are, but just out of a courtesy move, you made that approach to our Fort Gratiot.
It was like calling my dad for money. I called up and said, hey, we have this $500,000 bill. We'd like some help. I'll take anything. And they said, we'll get back to you. So we're looking forward to the we'll get back to you call.
Well, that was something they should feel some kind of obligation on that respect.
Well, and with that, I just want to point out as well that the township engaged unsolicited 3 years ago in a dredging agreement to help fund $7,500 a year from each township to help us fund dredging every year. So every year we get $15,000 from our township partners to help with dredging because they recognize that that's a valued asset to their residents as well.
Oh, okay. And then the Eagle, that grant that we got back a few months that the Eric wrote, is that
This is not tied. Nope, that's not tied to this.
that?
Nope.
Okay, I just
Nope.
want to know that. And how does this qualify for the ARP? What category
It doesn't.
are you attributed
It
to?
doesn't qualify. You bring up an excellent point. It doesn't qualify for a specific category. We will use the lost revenue category to help fund this.
Oh, okay. All right, that's good enough.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes. go
Do we
ahead.
have restrictions on how far we can go as far as where we,
Yes.
width and depth and all that kind of?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So you bring up a very good point. Some people complained this year that we weren't dredging as much as we were last year. That's because someone dimed us out to Lansing for the fact that we had been dredging too much. And so we can only dredge a very narrow, so the canal belly, the entire canal, we have to maintain that width and depth all the way to the lake. So we used to mouth it out a little bit there, tried to get the most bang from our buck when we dredged. Well, that was, Eagle had kind of called us and said, that's really not within your permit guidelines and scope. So yes, it will be narrow in scope.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes. Item 2, please.
Accepting the bid from Grand River Construction Incorporated in the amount of $69,900 for the Fickner Building Stair Replacement at the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a motion?
Some support?
Support.
Councilmember Lamb and supported by Councilmember Ashford.
Madam Mayor and Council, this is for a staircase within the wastewater plant. We've dealt with the corrosion of air ducts and air handling systems before. The metal staircase is no difference, is subject to the same type of corrosive behavior with the metals and the metallics within the staircase. What we've done over the last couple of years is when grates on our catwalks have been eroding, we've been replacing them with this new hybrid plastic technology, which doesn't corrode like metal does. They now have come out with a staircase, which is the same material. So what we did is we held a pre-bid meeting with 3 different contractors, but we did not receive a bid because it's pretty unique and specific work within a wastewater plant within this type of corrugated plastic material that's very new to the marketplace. So we advertised once again, and we did receive a bid for $69,000 to replace this metal staircase, which we have cobbled together, bolted it, and welded it as much as we can with a new hybrid plastic staircase, which should never erode and never corrode, and will be there for till kingdom come.
Kingdom come. I see the townships do share this too.
You are,
Part of
Yeah.
this.
you are correct. We only cover about 67.4% of the cost.
Okay. Any questions from council?
Yeah, do we have any evidence of this? Did you benchmark anybody else on this material?
Yeah, we did. So what we did is we had these grates along the catwalks for the last several years. So we actually bought sections of grate that are made out of the same plastic and have been trying it out for several years to make sure it did what it said it did before we invested in a very large staircase made out of it.
So you were your own benchmark, so you had that in mind anyway to see how it would come out, so you could
Correct, because the internal workings of our wastewater plant are pretty unique, as in any type of plant that's uniquely designed for community, specifically with the solid, biosolid containers and the specific corrosive erosion material that they exhaust on that metal.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Mayor Rapp,
Yes.
James, was this company able to cite any people who are using it for that same purpose?
We researched it ourselves before we put the bid together. So we didn't rely on a contractor to tell us what was the best option. We reached out to our counterparts across the country.
Now, is any examples of any companies that have other water plants?
Yes, oh yes,
Okay,
yep.
thank you.
Anyone else? We will take,
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes?
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Rupp?
yes, we move on to resolutions. Number 1, please.
Authorizing 16 payments.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Councilmember Mosrak, supported by Councilmember Ashford. Any questions on any of our payments? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes?
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Mayor Rupp?
Yes. Move on to number 2.
Approving the agreement with Walker Consultants for professional engineering services for the Municipal Office Center parking structure rehabilitation, which will include providing construction document preparation, construction administration, and observation to the plaza.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Councilmember Lamb, supported by Councilmember Ashford. Would you like to go into a little more detail about this, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, this is again part of a multi-year strategy with that parking deck. First, we did an assessment. They came in and did a study for us 2 years ago. Then they came in and did emergency repairs within the last 6 months. As you know, we had falling concrete. That was literally chunks of concrete falling on patrol cars. The next step is designing a scope of work for phase 1 and phase 2 of a rehabilitation project. They will go through and look at what the phasing is, what those construction documents and bid documents and design documents will look like. They will procure that bidding. We will bring those bids back to council, and they will provide oversight to that construction.
Is
There any questions?
so how does this, Johnson's control, they're still,
This is, Johnson Controls handles the mechanical and HVAC of the building. This is actually the structural concrete
of it.
metal of the building, correct?
okay.
Any other questions?
You will receive bid, so what we'll do is bring this to bid documents. We will bid it out, and before work commences, we'll bring those bids back to the mayor and council. Hopefully, we'll have the building sold by then. But if not, we will have to look at doing this.
But it does need to be done.
It does need, but
Yeah.
it's beginning to propose a life and safety issue.
Okay, excuse me, Mayor, well, yeah, that brings up another, okay, so this is the design and all this and getting it in perspective and everything. So from this, is it gonna be contracted out
It'll bring back.
based on those designs?
Correct. It'll bring back construction bid documents.
Right.
We'll procure that. We'll bring those bids back to council, and then at that time, you'll have to provide me guidance on what you choose to do.
Any other questions? We shall take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes?
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Mayor Rupp?
Yes. Item 3.
Approving the allocation of American Rescue Plan funding up to $65,000 to the Council of Aging for the purpose of purchasing a new hot shot meal delivery vehicle for the delivery of hot meals to homebound senior citizens in the city of Port Huron.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Councilmember Mosher, supported by Councilmember Lamb.
Madam Mayor and Council, we have been working with a strategic method of finding ways to invest in certain groups in our community that do good for at-risk residents with our American Rescue Plans money, whether that's the recovery community, whether that's mental health, or the People's Clinic. The Council on Aging delivers more than 250 meals a day to seniors who otherwise probably wouldn't get a good, wholesome meal. No, not just because of income qualifications, but also because they just can't have the ability to prepare those. Many of you, and many in this room today, have volunteered to deliver meals to those homes. It's not just delivering meals, but when someone comes to their homes and they don't answer the door, some folks, they may have fallen getting out of the shower in the night or fallen getting into bed or something had happened, and they know if I just lay here in the morning, Meals on Wheels will be here to knock on my door, and if I don't pick up that door, they're going to call for help. And Meals on Wheels is kind of our first line oversight of making sure our seniors are okay and have the resources they need. This truck provides both hot and cold storage on board. So if it's a fresh salad or a hot plate of food, they will get those meals delivered at the proper temperature. This will be used for Port Huron alone. Because of the lead time and the cost influctuation, they gave us not to exceed amount of $65,000, but it will be for a vehicle deliver meals just to the seniors of Port Huron.
Yeah, to add to that, I mean, it's not only a matter of fact if they can't come to the door, but sometimes it's the only people they see all day. So it's the company. So it makes a big difference. I did do deliveries here a couple weeks ago, and they're very appreciative of people coming by. So regardless of the meal, even though, you know, they do need it. So.
Mayor,
Yes.
at our last meeting in public audience, James, if you'll remember, we had a gentleman stand up and was wishing that we could allocate more money to seniors of our age. So I think this is good funding and a good way to put it. So I hope that's recognized for them.
Yep.
So thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, just to piggyback off this is a more direct and intentional, but it's not that we have given ARP funds and it hasn't hit some of our seniors. This one is a more of here in your face and direct hit, and that's what the gentleman was actually referencing. So, you know, we definitely never should take a back seat to, you know, not whatever we give, we hope the impact reaches all, crosses all society, our youth and our seniors. But this really was much needed and appreciated. So thank you.
We are responsive to public comment.
Yes. Well, you listen.
Yep.
Is there any other questions? Comments? We'll take the vote.
Yep.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosher?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, we have one ordinance tonight. If I could read that.
First reading, an ordinance to amend Chapter 52 zoning, Article 3, District Regulations, Division 1 generally, Section 52-162 map of the Port Huron Code of Ordinances to rezone the property generally described as the 2400 block of 10th Avenue from an R1 zoning district to a C1 zoning district.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Support.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Could you just give us an overview of what this actually entails?
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. This is a rezoning of the property as part of the Blue Water Bridge Plaza project. They intend to invest more than $120 million by upgrading the DTE substation, which is currently just west of Pine Grove Ave. They're going to move it just south of Pine Grove Ave. It will be the largest contribution a state agency has made to a private entity to upgrade that substation, not only to support the Plaza project, but additionally our current electric grid in the city of Port Huron cannot sustain future electrification. So if we intend to have electric vehicles and electric cars and electric everything in the next 20 years, we need to upgrade our substation to account for that additional load as we move from fossil fuels to more green energy produced by our green facility on the south end of the county. This substation really, it's not just about the plaza, this is about modernization of our electric grid as a city as a whole. This is the first step, which is the rezoning, which allows them to move forward. The next step is they'll have to do a site plan. They will also have to provide a landscaping plan and additional mitigation measures for the neighborhood to the planning commission, which will have to be approved.
They're not purchasing any more property to do this. This is
For
just.
MDOT?
Yeah.
As-
I mean, for this particular.
For this, no.
I don't know what they're doing on the other. I'm just saying on this particular one.
For this specific one, no.
No. Okay. Any questions?
No, just a comment, but this definitely benefits this
Yeah.
section. It benefits us as a city on that particular grid.
What we read about, so when I was with the DTE engineers, they're explaining, if you look at other parts of the country where they have like rolling blackouts because they can't support the air, and they don't have electric vehicles yet. So when that comes online, that problem's gonna be exacerbated. So this is a very proactive measure to say our community is ready for this new wave of green technology. So what seems is just a rezoning is part of a broad green agenda for our community.
And so we're positioning, that's all, we're positioning, getting ready to connect
Correct.
to that.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes?
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, that concludes our regular agenda. I do have a couple of announcements. The next regular city council meeting will be held on August the 8th. In the summertime, we only have one meeting in July and one meeting in August. So it's the next meeting, August 8th, which is 4 weeks away. The deadline for nominations to be submitted to the city clerk's office for the Beautification Commission's annual Yard of the Year contest is July 29th. The Spirit of Port Huron nominations are due by July 21st. We can move forward that deadline, and you can get information from the city clerk's office as well about the Spirit of Port Huron. The event will be held in September. And before I open it up to council, if they have anything, James, do you think you could give us a little update on the property on 10th Avenue sales of lots? Is anything happening on that?
Yes, we have now finished the condominium documents, and we are setting out developer packets to real estate agents and builders in the community. David has had conversations with numerous builders and developers and real estate agents, let them know that those properties are available and ready for construction. And if you drive by, you'll see really nice street lights. We kind of enhance those a little bit thanks to help from DTE. And also we have some really nice signage coming in, which under the condo association will be the property owner's responsibility in 20 years.
Right.
So we take care of that as well.
Okay, but people are
They're for sale.
interested, it is moving forward.
They're for
Okay.
sale. Build them now before interest rates.
Yeah, there you go. Is there anything from anybody else on council?
Yeah, I would just like to thank Nancy. I had a comment from one of our residents in the community. Our Mac Warren is doing so well. It's just been off the hook, all weekends. Everything's been going so fine. And on Sundays, they did add a faith night, and they said it was due to Mrs. Wisner's, help, the extra help you put behind that. And I told them that I would tell you that, yes, we, very proud of what you do and continue to do, to make sure inclusion of everyone, and so that faith-based community is just excited, that you've added them. And you also put them on the webpage, I think, because all the other printed materials were out. And number two, and I like to, many of you probably already seen it on TV, Colonel Jefferson, I call him Alex, but anyway, Colonel Jefferson had passed away last week, and I got the call before, but we couldn't say anything because of who he is, a Tuskegee Airman, and they wanted to come out, with one voice, how they did, and making all the arrangements for him. And we were represented there as part of Port Huron. This was one of his last, big hurrahs here in this area, but there are other things that were happening at the other end. And we were just so blessed to have him up here in Port Huron as a part of our history up here making when we did the Tuskegee Memorial. And Britt Gillette, who's sitting back there, served on that committee. So, we, and all the council, they weighed in with all their expressions, heartfelt comments and everything, and we appreciated all of that, just coming from our end. And he just had a fantastic, I couldn't go to the services because we Pauline and I, we had other things here, commitments here in the city of Port Huron, but certainly just wanted to mention that because we're all together here and all part of that history, and so we support, anything that happens here in our city. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you. I also want us to, this is Blue Water Fest and Mackinac Sale Week. Everybody, boats are coming to town. We have a carnival. You want to talk a little bit about it, or?
Yes, we have Blue Water Fest is back. We really want to thank our sponsors, and Huntington Bank sponsored it in a big way, $20,000. Our partnership with Radio First to help take over those concerts and really do concerts in a way better than we can. We have added a new market, makers market and creators market, which now has almost 80 vendors. So our downtown will be filled with 80 craftsmen and vendors from around the state and region. That'll provide a whole new something for people to do, maybe who are not really into the rock concert, but like the market downtown. You can find all the details at thebluewaterfest.com. Thebluewaterfest.com. Don't forget the. It has a schedule of events, the map. Because we have the concerts in the transit parking lots, there will be some parking moved off to the side, so be sure to check those maps to find out where available free public parking is in downtown. But it should be a great event. I want to thank Chief Platzer and his team. We take security at these events very seriously. I know there's been a lot of national news about public events and things that go awry. Those do not go unnoticed. I will not brief on means and methods, but we have very enhanced security detail working with both our regional and federal and state partners, securing our sites and securing our operations and ensuring that we have contingency plans in place to ensure that families and friends and neighbors have a wonderful time in Blue Water Fest, and that will be assured.
And that they are safe.
Yep.
They are safe.
And I won't go any further, but I'm glad you mentioned that because of the emails that we get as council of the gentleman's concerns. And so I think that says enough of what we have to say that we have covered. I know the chief is well equipped and ready for that. So thank you. Thank you.
Anything else from anyone? A motion to adjourn then.
So move.